Hello everyone. Well, I said I would be back with word on the energy of the Lionsgate, the Sirius portal from Gaia. And so here I am, having, to be honest, had quite a few goes at getting it all to come together yesterday with not much joy. So lots of technical problems, and so yep, I'm bringing it through to you today. So I'm Sharron Martin, and I bring through messages from Gaia to help you navigate your way on the earth as we are transitioning through very strong energies on our ascension pathway. So let me tell you about, first of all, when I asked her, the imagery I got shown was this idea of this light coming through from the first. So from the first until the 7th, it is this idea that the light is coming through like a camera aperture, just opening a little bit incrementally each day. So more light coming through to the planet. And this is from the 1st through to the 7th. And this is light that is, it's faster, it's more pressurizing, it's catalyzing, it's expanding. And so these are the kinds of energies that we're in the midst of. And so it's coming through a little bit more each day. So we are, in a way, being, I guess, tempered to these energies, so our bodies can hold this light and hold these higher codes. So it's having an effect of both purifying and clearing us, the planet, and the systems, really. But I'll speak a little bit more about that in a moment. And then it's bringing in this catalyzing of new higher codes, frequencies, memories, skills, talents, past life stuff, multidimensional stuff. A lot going on at the moment, both in the mind, in the emotional body, and in the sensory body, as well as what's going on in the ethers. So this is what we're going through. And then on the 8th, which is when the opening peaks, the portal opening of the Sirius gateway, or the Lion's gateway, opens. There's a flash, a solar flash or a solar flare. What we're seeing from the 1st to the 7th is also these slight solar flares, solar emissions that are sort of coming off and washing over us from the sun. And then on the 8th, she shows me there, so if, let's see how I can describe it, as if this is the aperture, it's this, it moves from being here to here to here, a little bit more each day. And then when it comes to the 8th, there's this effect. It really opens up, and we'll feel that very, very strongly during that time. And it sustains to that level, and then it just drops marginally. So it's as though we're at this level here at the end of July, having gone through huge transformational energies, and then we build big on the 8th, and we come back to here, just slightly diminished energy on the 9th, and that's the level of illumination at which we begin our new existence, our new 5th dimensional energy, really much more strongly kind of embedding in here. So let me see what else there is here. Yeah, so it's this new level of light for us that is sustained. So this is the elevation that Gaia has been speaking of at our ascension. We're on the spiraling ascension, the spiraling of this clearing, purging. I've spoken about it often as we're coming into the new, and this catalyzing in ourselves, and certainly God has spoken about that. And if you didn't hear that video, the imagery that I was given around that was that our cells are like popping corn in the microwave. So they are being changed, of course, from carbon to silica crystalline as we move from being carbon based in our bodies to being crystalline based. And so we're having these little sort of explosions catalyzing things happening in our cells, and so all of that is releasing as well. So all of this is going on at the moment as we come into our higher dimensional ways of being, and there's some new things coming as well, but yeah, we're, these past life things are coming up. Past life memories, experiences, skills, talents, gifts are being revealed. Any emotional residue that might need to be released might be coming up. You might find that there are a lot of tears coming as you're releasing that from your body, and just allow that to occur. Don't get too caught up with the kind of emotional labeling of it. I advise you, and you don't have to do this of course, but I advise you to examine it through a sensory lens of what am I feeling in my body. What am I feeling in terms of the temperature? Is it opening or retracting? Is it sharp or soft? Explore it through those things. It's a more powerful, less attached, more detached way of dealing with those things. So yeah, more aspects of returning the multidimensional aspects. Gifts and talents, knowings, more and more implosions and explosions coming in to be harnessed by you in your body in various places, and more integration. Also, yeah, a changing and up-leveling of function in many aspects of the body. That's what is occurring to us, within us, on the outer extremities of us and in our energetic fields at the moment, affecting some physical aspects of the body. So some of these there's this triangulation movement going on between the heart, higher heart, and the throat. And so this is this movement of being able to express feelings more authentically, genuinely, these feelings from the heart being able to be spoken out, and being able to be speaking truth, our personal truth and greater truth. So that is becoming part of our way of being. We'll be able to do that more easily with greater genuineness and authenticity. And then coming with that will be the ability for more of us to be able to read the energies of truth and lies. So we'll read that energetically through our emotional body, through our sensory body, through our energetic body, and we'll register it. And that will ultimately become this, according to Gaia. We will then move to a place where it will be that everyone can read the energies of lies and truth, and then we will move to a place where this triangulation will become so strong that we will not be able to do anything but speak truth. So that's one of the changes. Another change is in the brain. So we are going to be releasing aspects of our brain function that is more related to lower dimensional ways of remembering and of processing. So these lower dimensional ways of storing facts and information in the brain, that's going to be seen as redundant, and these more sort of incidental, trivial, irrelevant things that we hold in our brain, they won't be held anymore. Our brain will take on higher functionality. Our brains will be able to access higher level thinking and operating. And I haven't got the ins and outs of all of that yet, but we're going through that. And then the other aspect is through our vision. So we're having triangulation through our third eye and physical eye, through our rare aspect of our third eye energy chakra or vortex. The rear of it sits in the occipital bone, that soft part at the base of the head, the top of the neck, and the front aspect here. So we're having some movement and triangulation through that aspect, through the physical eyes, through the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. And what Gaia shows me around that is we will be able to use our vision in a more holistic way. It will be more integrated. We'll be able to see through the veils in our physical eyes. We'll be able to see more of what right now is in the invisible realms. We'll be able to use our physical eyes in triangulation with our third eye to see that. We'll be able to have facilities and faculties in the vision, such as almost being able to zoom in and zoom out and see multiple lenses and multiple things occurring at the same time. So how that shows up energetically to me is as a series of triangles, triangulations coming into kite shapes through those various aspects of the brain. And so this might be happening for you if you've been experiencing a lot of blurry vision moving in and out, like having perfect vision one day and blurry for the next three. It, might have come through aching eyes as though they're strained, or through sort of a little bit of grittiness as we've been going through these upgrades. And some of us have been having those sorts of upgrades for a little while, but this is coming in for the general population of humanity. Yeah, just a reminder here, I wrote this here as well, that the energies we are experiencing every day currently are each day more pressurized, more expanded and more impactful than the day before. They are faster and bigger. They are creating greater pressure in the body and on the earth. And all of this is creating great change in our world and the projected holographs in the matrix and the various aspects of nets that have been placed over us as humanity. So I've been shown, if you imagine that you have a garden and you put a net over the top of it, I've been shown that there have been a lot of those put in place basically to keep us in limitation and lack and in lower level functioning. And so they have been put in place to keep us programmed in a whole variety of ways, but in terms of keeping us also, slowed down and in greater limit and lack for our abilities to access our higher level and our higher dimensional functioning gifts and talents. And so the dissolution of these is in progress. As we move through one of the strong programs or nets that is being dissolved at the moment, there are a lot of them, but one of them is this systems of belief. So these are individual systems of belief. These are community, social systems of belief, social structures, and also systems within our planet. And so these are the false beliefs, these things that we've been inculcated with, that we've been led to believe are our truths. These are all coming up to be examined and dissolved, and we will have new ones that get laid in. So Gaia said that this whole thing around this, what's been going on here in our world for the last 18 months, that the truth of that in relation to government, medical, pharmaceutical, and this COVID, that the truth of that would begin to be shown publicly towards the end of July, and that it would begin to be disentangled. And so some of these systems of belief that are going to be dissolving now link into that also. She says that as we move in and through this Sirius gateway, you must take extreme care of yourself, your body, your hydration, your thoughts, your sense of beingness, of centeredness, and your focus, and to encourage those around you to do the same. So you know that Gaia has spoken really the whole time about maintaining a higher level of vibration, of being aware and noticing what is going on in our three-dimensional world in these lower levels, but to then be operating and viewing and holding the vibration and perception of our higher levels, of these higher level dimensional frequencies, fields and views. And so it's really important, and the message that came maybe 5 or 6 days ago that I put out was all about that. It was about holding this focused intention of our moving into our fifth dimensional world and just not paying any attention to the lower vibration. And so now we are asked to maintain that, but we can now become aware that the truths are coming up to be revealed on a greater public arena platform. More and more people, it will be becoming clearer and more obvious the ways in which we've been manipulated, programmed and lied to. But these sort of revelations of what we've been going through in the last 18 months sit in these programs of these systems of belief that have held us in limited ways of thinking. So, such things as that everything that happens in the world of health and medical and pharmaceutical is for our good, to make us healthier. That, that's a strong paradigm that exists in our world, and it's not true in its entirety. The idea that our governments look after us, that the actions that they take are for the good of our world, for the good of our population, for the good of our society. So those are two, very strong kind of aspects of this dissolution of systems of belief. And so we'll watch as more and more of these are moved in and out, Gaia says, during this month. We're going to be experiencing this dissolution of the old systems of belief and the new coming in to replace that. And that will be through, lots of the structures. She's talked about that. I brought through messages from her about that, I think in June, about how we would watch as the structures began to show up as not really performing and working and functioning for our highest good. For our highest good, and that we would begin to see the edges of those crumbling and things like that. Well, now they're being swapped out, so we'll just witness and see what comes of that. But there's a lot, and really I just want to be talking to you about the Lionsgate aspect at the minute. I'll come back and do more of an August update in a little bit. So she is saying, remember that focus goes where energy flows, or energy flows where focus goes, and that needs to show up and will show up very strongly for all of humanity during this month. She's saying this in turn will have this impact on greater separation. We spoke about that in the analogy of being on that sleek ship through the stormy ocean. This greater separation and disconnection between the dimensional fields and between the people who are existing strongly in those lower dimensional fields and aspects. They are well entrenched in them, and we will really be served by accepting that that's their choice. And Gaia says they're not lost, that we'll send rescue missions to them later, but at the moment they have chosen to kind of experience more hardship in the three-dimensional world. And so this portal, trench, tunnel, gateway, opening, stargate, vortex, whatever name you like to give it, it really lines up with the qualities of strength and of courage. And so we just need to step into holding those and embodying those as we step through this. And she says it culminates the transformation that's been taking place in July as we move more now to this exchanging in and exchanging out more of the old and a greater flow of in and out through many aspects. So this is through many aspects of the human body, human systems, many aspects of the planetary body and planetary systems. And then, yes, as I already mentioned, one that's in strong dissolution is that of the systems of belief, all of the belief systems of humanity. And the other one that comes up strongly that I wish to just refer to briefly is our television and what we get told through that, and the programming that comes through not just the programs but through our news schedules and bulletins, and that has contained a lot of programming and a lot of falsities around this last 18 months. There's been very strong narratives that people have hooked into believing, and it's not for me to tell you what to believe or not believe, but I really encourage you to look more deeply at what is going on in your physical world. What shows up for you in your world? Do you see these things happening around you in your reality or not? You know, how many people do you know who have suffered in particular ways through this? You know, are they suffering through some of the impingements and mandates that have been made, or have they been suffering for what's so-called as the rationale for those mandates coming in? So just have a good look at it, because there's a lot of overlays of false programming, false paradigms, but it's going to become obvious. We're in the fullness, Gaia says, of the mass awakening of humanity. So, you know, more and more people are going to feel it, see it, acknowledge it as they come into their own truth and connection with their own hearts. Gaia is saying that this headache, nauseousness, under pressure feelings that you might be experiencing during this time, it may be in a new way. You might not have had these particular kind of conditions or ailments in the same way, and that you might feel as though your entire body, your whole body is being squeezed. She says, you may feel aligned and in bliss, or discombobulated and scattered, and it is likely that each of us will go through some aspect of both of those at varying points, and to breathe through those experiences, to feel, like I mentioned earlier, into the sensory experience of the body, and to try not to articulate these through the mind. So actually this idea of being detached from what's going on, just observing it, witnessing it, being detached, and the same within your body, just you go to, you know, what's the actual tangible physical sensation? What's the sensory experience in my body? Don't attach it to the emotional things of, you know, I feel sad, I feel, you know, it's bringing up all of my feelings that are attached to the stories of old or of childhood or all of that. You know, try and examine it through those more physical sensory experiences. She says the body is your best ally and tool for process at the moment, so look after it in the biggest, bestest, highest, most fantastic way that you ever have during these couple of weeks. And she says you may discover that you bring in new ways of being with your body, so tune into your body, have dialogue with your body, ask it for its advice about what it needs and desires. You know, and the imagery I get around it is that some of you maybe feel guided to do different forms of exercise. You might be more guided to do softer, more stretching kind of exercise in your body through yoga or Pilates or things like that, or swimming. And you may feel that you want to feed your body differently. You might want to nutrient it differently. So just be guided by that. Feel into what your body is guiding you to eat and put in your mouth, and then to use the Gaia breath. So if you don't know the Gaia breath, if you haven't taken part in that kind of instruction that I've given in a couple of videos, go to my public Facebook page, which is called Inner Sanctum NZ, and I've pinned it to the top of that page. It's a 2 breath strategy, technique that Gaia downloaded to me. You do that breath 3 times. That's the cycle. You repeat the cycle 3 times during the day. It's all designed to be integrating these strong, powerful energies into a more gentle kind of mix in the body, so that you're less likely to come into physical pain. That's what that's about. And she says, be grounded, get your bare feet on the ground, get your bare feet on the earth, you know, connect into the trees, get your feet in salt water or into salt baths, get connected into nature. Nature is your best friend, you know, so be nature's best friend also as it is yours. Smile and know that all is well, that this is our grand opening. This is our grand opening into our new way, into our new world, as we're anchoring in very strongly, embodying these 5th dimensional frequencies and aspects and gifts into our physical form during this gateway. And breathe. And breathe through your heart and in your heart, and feel that love in your heart. Feel that beautiful expansion across your chest. Feel the warmth of it. Feel the radiance of it. Bathe in the energy of your own beautiful hearts as we move through into this radiating, exquisite, golden light, pulsating era. And it carries with it so much love. We're moving more into greater love and greater unconditional love as we're experiencing letting go of these limited ways of belief and thinking and functioning. And she says we will come into new perception, as much of the old will have faded away, the programming, the beliefs, the constraints. And we will live in a world where our hearts are so free, where our hearts will take on greater function and our brains will take on that different functionality. We will be in the existence of living from a place of knowing, of cognizance, of timelessness. So this is the other thing that's going to disappear, this connection to the matrix of time. It's not that time doesn't exist, but this connection to this 24-hour time, this 365-day calendar, the months, the cycles, the days, all of that, we are releasing from that. We're moving into timelessness. The clock is a constraint, a programming that's held us also. So we're moving into that where lack will not exist, where each of us will sit in our own individuation of creation, but living in such harmony and unity focus and unity consciousness, and this beauty of being in our own bliss and unconditional love in our hearts, that we will create what it is that we wish, and it won't impinge on anybody else because of our awareness. And that this is when we'll come into this kind of flow of synchronicity, of co-creation in streams of consciousness in the collective, as we really will create up our new world, our new way of being, and that will include many, many aspects. But collectively, this sense of greater creativity and unity consciousness, that humanity will come into being in that place of a sense of flow. I think that is really the best way to describe it. And with that flow comes huge expansion, this ability to create and co-create, and having one's focus on expansion in all ways. And the other thing is that this is way bigger than can readily be perceived by us at the moment, by humanity in general at the moment. But we're still in this dissolving, the dissolving of the nets, the matrix, the overlays. It's very much still in its dissolution stage. It will continue over the next few years. It will be completely dissolved by 2025, Gaia says. But at the moment, it's strongly dissolving. These beliefs, these held false beliefs that have been dissolved out of the programming and the belief systems in particular. So I just invite you to soak in that, and maybe listen to this another time, because I know that there's been a lot of information in here. Just take in what feels right for you, but no, we're in this huge, beautiful up-leveling into our new way of being. in our world and with one another, and you know it will flow through all of the levels and stratum in our world, through the soil, through our physical breathing beautiful entity known as Earth, or as Gaia, or the energy of Gaia. It will stream through the microbiological aspects, through you know all of our insects and creatures and birds and animals and plants and nature and water and air, and all of this is coming back to its purity as we release all of the intervention and influence of, you know, there's a myriad of influences that have affected our air, water, food, and all of this is being uplifted and dissolved as we speak. And I send you so much love from my heart and from the heart of Gaia, and I wish you a magical time through the opening of this up-leveling of the Syrian gateway, this courage and strength. Allow that to carry you through as you explore this through your sensory body, knowing you're coming in to your higher illuminated self in your fifth dimensional form. And I'll see you on the other side. So much love. So much love from Gaia and from me. Bye. I'll speak again soon, huh?